Good Thursday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. Well, we made it over the hump, and we're in the home stretch toward the weekend. We, of course, you have your news headlines coming up on this Thursday. Have a message from my book, Word That Choose to Live By. And in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you're part of my conversation with award-winning author Veera Hiranandani, who's celebrating her brand new book, A Meal in the After. You don't want to miss that. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Thursday headlines. In national news, judge threatens to boot Donald Trump from courtroom over loud talking as E. Jean Carroll testifies. Donald Trump was threatened with expulsion from his Manhattan civil trial Wednesday after he repeatedly ignored a warning to keep quiet while writer E. Jean Carroll testified that he shattered her reputation after she accused him of sexual abuse. The judge told the former president that his right to be present at the trial will be revoked if he remains disruptive. After an initial warning, Carroll's lawyer said Trump could still be heard making remarks to his lawyers, including, "It is a witch hunt, and it really is a con job. Mr. Trump, I hope I don't have to consider excluding you from the trial," the judge said in exchange after the jury was excused for lunch, adding, "I understand you're probably eager for me to do that." "I would love it," the Republican presidential frontrunner shot back, shrugging as he sat between lawyers at the defense table. "I know you would like it. You just can't control yourself in this circumstance, apparently," the judge responded. "You can't either," Trump muttered. Afterwards, Trump ripped the judge on social media while the judge denied a request that he step aside from the case. In a Truth Social post, Trump described the Bill Clinton appointee as seething and hostile and abusive, rude, and obviously not impartial. The judge cracked down after Carroll's lawyer complained for a second time that Trump could be heard loudly saying things that are false as he sat at the defense table, frequently tilting back in his chair and leaning over to speak with his lawyer. Among his comments, the attorney said, were that the longtime Elle magazine advice columnist was lying about the assault and that she seemed to have gotten her memory back. The lawyer suggested that if Carroll's lawyers could hear Trump from where they were sitting, about 12 feet from him, jurors might have been able to hear him too. Some appeared to split their focus between Trump and the witness stand. "I'm just going to ask that Mr. Trump take special care to keep his voice down when conferring with counsel to make sure the jury does not hear it," the judge said before jurors returned to the courtroom after a morning break. Earlier, without the jury in the courtroom, Trump could be seen slamming his hand on the defense table and uttering the words "man" when the judge again refused his lawyer's request that the trial be suspended so he could attend his mother-in-law's funeral in Florida. In more national news, U.S. in deep freeze while much of the world is extra toasty. Yet again, it's climate change, says the Associated Press. Much of the United States is shivering through brutal cold, as most of the rest of the world is feeling unusually warm weather. However strange it sounds, that contradiction fits snugly in explanations of what climate change is doing to the Earth, scientists said. In a map of global temperatures the last several days, big chunks of the world, the Arctic, Asia, parts of Africa, the Middle East, and South America show as dark red, signifying more than a dozen degrees Fahrenheit warmer than the late 20th century average. But the United States stands out like a cold thumb, a deep bluish purple that is just as out of whack but on the frigid side. Wind chills in parts of North Dakota reached minus 70 degrees, while the heat index in Miami was more than 160 degrees warmer at 92. The fourth coldest NFL football game took place in Kansas City, while across the globe, the thermometer hit a blistering 92 degrees, 12 degrees warmer than average on last Friday during tennis's Australian Open in Melbourne. Warm temperature records fell overnight in Aruba, parts of Argentina, and Iran. In more national news, Biden brings congressional leaders to White House at pivotal time for Ukraine aid and U.S. border deal. President Joe Biden has convened top congressional leaders at the White House to press for its $110 billion national security package at a pivotal time as senators narrow on a landmark immigration deal that could unlock the aid to Ukraine, Israel, and other U.S. allies. The sit-down with Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate leaders, including the chairman of influential national security committees, could make or break the political trade-off that has been simmering for weeks as lawmakers have failed so far to reach a compromise over Biden's broader aid package. Ahead of the meeting, Johnson, in his first big test of his new speakership, said he needs to see transformative changes to restrict the record number of migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border as part of any deal for the overseas wars. I will tell the president that I've been seeing it consistently since the moment I landed the gavel, Johnson said. And finally, in business news, Wall Street dips as hopes dim for an imminent cut to interest rates, says the Associated Press. Wall Street slipped Wednesday following another signal that it may have gotten too optimistic about when the Fed Reserve will deliver the cuts to interest rates that traders crave so much. The S&P 500 fell 27 points, or 0.6%, to 4,739. It is the second straight tumble for the index after it closed out its 10th winning week in the last 11 near its all-time high. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's some time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Thursday, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Words I Choose to Live By. Your personal walk is one that not everyone will understand, but it is yours. Do not allow others to dictate the way you travel along your path. Have an amazing Thursday. We are part of my conversation coming up with award-winning author Veera Hiranandani in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Entertainment Spotlight. Award-winning author Veera Hiranandani joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show again, to discuss her success and her brand new book, A Meal and the After. Here's a bit of our conversation.
Veera, glad to have you back on the broadcast again. Thanks for the time.
Very glad to be here. Thank you.
Well, Veera, I was really excited about this. When I heard about the new book, I was excited to read it, and you definitely did not disappoint. So congratulations on that. Our audience can now be able to enjoy it this year. So let's talk about that, because there was such excitement about these characters and this family, Veera, when you introduced the Night Diary. What has it been like for you to see the way that people are responding to the new book already?
It's incredible. I feel like, the beginning, sort of some of the reviews and some of the feedback I've heard is really exciting. And it's also just such a great relief, because you just really never know when you put a book out there, how it's going to land. So if you get the first few, positive feedback, that you're just like, oh, phew, thank God I didn't make like a disaster out of this. That's good.
Well, as I mentioned, there was such a huge response to the Night Diary, of course, being recognized with Newbery Honor. I want to talk about that, because I saw in a video that you did on YouTube when I was prepping for this segment, Veera, where you talked about, not only, of course, that honor, but also being able to sit with your own story, your own success. What has that been like for you to do? Because I know I've been grappling with that over the past couple of years of kind of trying to enjoy the milestones along the way. What has that been like for you to be able to take that time and do that?
Yeah, I think it's a little hard for me. There's a part of it where I feel like it's incredibly validating, encouraging, and motivating. But I also don't want to attach myself too much to it, because every book is its own mountain to climb, and as writers and just being in the publishing world, nothing is set. You just sort of have to keep going, and every book is a new experience.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. But I'll get on tomorrow to wrap up this week. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let us go make today amazing. Take care.